The history of Seljuk Empire. The Seljuk Empire, commonly known as the Seljuks of Rum, was a great Muslim kingdom that ruled most of the Middle East from the 11th through the 12th century. It was created by the Seljuk Turks, a nomadic group that hailed from Central Asia. The Seljuk Empire was one of the major Muslim empires of the medieval period, and its effect may still be seen today. During its height, the Seljuk Empire spanned an area from present-day Turkey to Iran and Central Asia. It was famed for its military prowess, spectacular architecture, and encouragement of the arts and sciences. The Seljuks contributed important contributions to Islamic civilization, including the invention of new technologies. To appreciate the Seljuk kingdom, we must first understand the Seljuk Turks, the nomadic tribe who built the kingdom. The Seljuk Turks were a Turkic-speaking people who originated in the vicinity of the Aral Sea in Central Asia. They were formerly members of the Greater Oghuz Turkic Tribal Confederation. In the 10th and 11th centuries, the Seljuks migrated westward into the Muslim world, first settling in the area of the Caspian Sea and then moving south into Iran. It was at this period that the Seljuks started to convert to Islam and embraced many of the customs and traditions of the Islamic world. By the 11th century, the Seljuks had established themselves as a major force in the Muslim world, with a strong military and a rising empire. Seljuk culture and civilization were highly impacted by their Turkic ancestry, with a concentration on nomadic habits and a strong emphasis on military strength. In the second part of this video, we will investigate the growth of the Seljuk Empire and how they spread their power throughout the Muslim world. The Seljuk Empire came to dominance in the 11th century, capturing enormous territory spanning Central Asia and the Middle East. The Seljuk Turks were famous for their military ability, and their conquests started with the subjugation of their fellow nomadic tribes in Central Asia. By the mid-11th century, the Seljuks had advanced into Iran and Iraq, where they destroyed the great Shi'ite dynasty and founded their own Sunni Muslim kingdom. But it was the Battle of Manzikert in 1071 that marked the Seljuks' greatest triumph, as they defeated the Byzantine Empire and captured the Anatolian region, modern-day Turkey. With their victory at Manzikert, the Seljuks established themselves as a major power in the Middle East and began a period of rapid expansion and growth. The Seljuks were noted for their spectacular architecture, with large mosques, madrasas, and caravanserais being created across their realm. By the end of the 12th century, the Seljuk Empire had expanded to include a huge region ranging from Central Asia to the Mediterranean, having a lasting imprint on the history and culture of the Middle East. In the second part of this video, we will study the lifestyle and culture of the Seljuk Empire and how they affected the Islamic world. The Seljuk Empire came to dominance in the 11th century, capturing enormous territory spanning Central Asia and the Middle East. The Seljuk Turks were famous for their military ability, and their conquests started with the subjugation of their fellow nomadic tribes in Central Asia. By the mid-11th century, the Seljuks had advanced into Iran and Iraq, where they destroyed the great Shi'ite dynasty and founded their own Sunni Muslim kingdom. But it was the Battle of Manzikert in 1071 that marked the Seljuks' greatest triumph, as they defeated the Byzantine Empire and captured the Anatolian region, modern-day Turkey. With their victory at Manzikert, the Seljuks established themselves as a major power in the Middle East and began a period of rapid expansion and growth. The Seljuks were noted for their spectacular architecture, with large mosques, madrasas, and caravanserais being created across their realm. By the end of the 12th century, the Seljuk Empire had expanded to include a huge region ranging from Central Asia to the Mediterranean, having a lasting imprint on the history and culture of the Middle East. In the second part of this video, we will study the lifestyle and culture of the Seljuk Empire and how they affected the Islamic world. The Seljuk Empire was noted for its robust governmental system and competent administration. The empire was controlled by a sultan, who was aided by a council of ministers and governors, known as the Divan. The Seljuk military was a significant component of their success, with a particular focus on cavalry tactics and archery. Seljuk troops were noted for their great proficiency with swords and other weapons, and they utilized a range of tactics such as the feigned withdrawal to lead opposing forces into traps. Seljuk civilization was founded on a feudal structure, with the sultan and his family at the top, followed by the aristocracy, and finally the ordinary people. Religion played a major part in Seljuk civilization, and Sunni Islam was the main religion of the empire. The Seljuks were also noted for their strong economy, with trade and commerce flourishing across their kingdom. The empire's position at the crossroads of key commercial routes enabled them to profit from the interchange of products and ideas across diverse areas. Seljuk civilization also put a great importance on education, with numerous schools and madrasas created across the empire to foster learning and scholarship. The Seljuk Empire was a complex and sophisticated civilization, and its impact may still be seen in the architecture, culture, and customs of the Middle East today. The Seljuk Empire was not only a great political force but also a vital contribution to Islamic civilization. Seljuk sponsorship of the arts and sciences served to encourage cultural interaction and intellectual progress across their kingdom. Seljuk architecture was especially famous for its majesty and size, with great structures and mosques created across the empire. The Seljuks were also noted for their outstanding military architecture, with citadels and strongholds erected to secure their frontiers. The Seljuks were tremendous benefactors of the arts, and many artists and academics prospered under their patronage. Seljuk carpets and textiles were known for their elaborate patterns and superb workmanship, and many specimens of Seljuk art may still be seen in museums and private collections today. Seljuk impact on the development of Islamic culture may also be observed in their contributions to literature and philosophy. Seljuk intellectuals made major contributions to the sciences of mathematics, astronomy, and medicine, and their works were studied and translated across the Islamic world. Seljuk trade and commerce also played a key role in the flow of ideas and information across various locations, helping to encourage cultural interaction and variety. The Seljuk Empire was a vital factor in the development of Islamic culture, and its impact can still be seen in the art, architecture, and intellectual accomplishments of the Middle East today. Despite their contributions to Islamic civilization, the Seljuk Empire eventually fell into decline. Seljuk disintegration and split undermined the empire, and many Seljuk successor nations formed in the 12th century. In the 13th century, the Seljuks faced an even bigger challenge in the shape of the Mongol invasion. The Mongols stormed over the Seljuk Empire, burning towns and slaughtering many of its residents. By the end of the 13th century, the Seljuk Empire had ceased to exist as a significant political entity. However, the Seljuk legacy continued to live on in Islamic history. Seljuk architecture and design inspired the development of Islamic art and architecture, and numerous Seljuk monuments still survive today. Seljuk trade and commerce also contributed to encouraging cultural interaction and variety in the Islamic world. Despite their decline and eventual disappearance, the Seljuk Empire remains an important part of Islamic history and a testament to the power of cultural exchange and intellectual achievement. The Seljuk Empire, despite its comparatively brief existence, made a lasting imprint on Islamic civilization. The Seljuks were a Turkic people that came from Central Asia and formed an empire that covered most of the Middle East and Central Asia. The Seljuks were noted for their sponsorship of the arts and sciences, notably in the disciplines of architecture and literature. The Seljuks were also powerful soldiers who extended their kingdom via invasion. However, the Seljuk Empire eventually fell into decline due to internal divisions and external threats. Despite their decline, the Seljuks left a lasting impact on Islamic civilization, particularly in the areas of art, architecture, and culture. Today, the Seljuk legacy continues to inspire and influence modern Islamic societies. From their roots as a nomadic tribe to their development as a great political and cultural force, the Seljuk Empire remains an essential aspect of Islamic history. The Seljuks' contributions to Islamic civilization remind us of the value of cultural interaction and intellectual success. As modern Islamic societies continue to evolve, the legacy of the Seljuk Empire serves as a reminder of the rich cultural and intellectual history that has shaped the Islamic world. Thank you for joining us on our trip through the Seljuk Empire, and we hope that you continue to discover and appreciate the great achievements of Islamic civilization.